welcome to the village. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Welcome. We're so excited. It's the end of the school year.
We made it. Hey, we made it. It's summertime.
Summertime.
Yes, we can't sing, but we can teach.
We can.
And we can solve for X.
Boom. But we're not teaching right now because it's what?
Summertime.
Woo!
Welcome to the village, everyone. Welcome. I am Dr. Roz.
I'm Coach Williams.
And we're with the Village Leadership Group, LLC, where we coach teacher leaders so they can maximize their strengths, develop leadership skills, and reignite their passion for teaching and learning. Why? Because we want our teachers to have a greater impact in their schools and community.
That's right.
Now, we show up here at the village live on Tuesdays and Thursdays so that we can share information about education and leadership. You know, because iron sharpens iron, and we want to come together and collaborate and share best practices. So we thank you guys for showing up and tuning in each week with the village. Now, this week we're celebrating what? The end of another school year. We did it.
I'm sorry, I'm too excited. I can't.
All right, so before you go on that summer break, we want you to kind of reflect and celebrate the fact that we made it another school year. So what were some of the things that you're going to always remember about this school year?
Everything.
Right. I will remember a few things. But let's reflect and let's really celebrate the fact that we did it. We thought outside of the box. We were innovative. We persevered. We had some challenges, but we overcame them. Why? Because that's what teachers do. Now, after we celebrate and we reflect, we also want to think about some great books because leaders are readers. So we're going to also talk about some wonderful books that should be on your summer read list. All right. Now, I don't know all of the great, amazing books. Do you know?
No,
I
know some math problems.
Yes, you can do that. Right? But guess what? Within the village, we have some amazing authors and educators. So we invited them here with us today. So come on, village elders and authors and educators. Welcome back to the village.
Hey.
So guys, the village is a professional learning community. We come together to network and to learn from each other. And again, we have some amazing educators and authors right here in the village. And they're no stranger. Y'all seen them before. So we're going to have them reintroduce themselves to you guys. And we're going to start with Dr. Sheka Houston. Reintroduce yourself, please, to the village.
Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Sheka Houston. I am by day a middle school principal in Chester, South Carolina. I'm not dancing like you all because our last day is not until next Tuesday.
You can
but I'll be dancing just like you. And I'm also the co-owner of Create and Educate LLC, where we work with authors as well as school leaders and teachers, mostly surrounding literacy.
Yes. Now, Dr. Houston, remind me, I need to talk to you because we need to partner with something too. But this is what the village is all about.
Say Village Connections.
All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Houston. And then we're going to go on to Dr. Nakia Cotton. Reintroduce yourself, please, to the village.
Hi, village. I am Dr. Nakia Cotton. And by day, I am a district Section 504 coordinator for a large school district in Metro Atlanta. And my personal endeavor, personal passion is I'm the CEO of EduFaith Educational Services, where we provide a plethora of educational services for students, including students with disabilities in college and career readiness and transitions. So I am glad to be here, and we're in Georgia, so our last day was May 26th. Woo! So we're just working summertime. I'm in the second week of summer work.
Okay, we're moving to Georgia. All right.
And I'm glad to be here.
Yes. And then another village member and elder, Miss Elzora Watkins. Welcome back to the village. Reintroduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be here. My name is Elzora Watkins, and people also refer to me as the equation coach because I believe the solution is in you. Now, by day, I am a mathematics coach for high school where I help teachers to make math come alive with their students. Yes. And then in the evening, I coach women and help them to design their desired destiny, as well as I am a foreign exchange trader. So I like all of those things and look forward to helping people to grow.
Love it, love it. And one of our original village elders, been here since forever, before I even had a little ring light. Dr. Sherika Simone, welcome back, like for the third or fourth or fifth time.
Hello, everyone. I feel so honored to be here again. And yes, I am now in the family. So, Dr. Roz, I got your back. I have your back. As mentioned, I'm Dr. Sherika Simone, and I am also in education, working for a local school district. Also an adjunct professor of psychology. But one of my other areas is being an author, and I will share more about that later on in our program today, about my book and others.
Love it. Love it. Okay, so most of us are celebrating the end of another successful school year. I'm sorry, Dr. Houston. I'm sorry. I won't dance too hard, okay? Sorry. Just dance a little bit.
With the one hand?
With the one hand. Okay. But I want to know, but you're still at the end though. You can see the light at the end of the tunnel, right? Okay. So as we celebrate the fact that we're about to go on vacation and unwind and do all that great stuff, let's reflect. Let's look back at the last couple of months and everything that we've gone through and persevered. What are some memorable moments? Like, what are some celebrations, some lessons learned? I can think of a few, but
you're gonna let them share first.
Right. I'm gonna just let you guys share first. Dr. Simone, what are some great takeaways, from this school year?
Absolutely. You know what? One thing that I always say is when we look at things that as individuals we go through, that may be more, specific educators we go through, I have taken away from this past school year how resilient we are. And not just us as educators, but our learners. But I want to start with us educators. We go in with a mindset and the mind frame that we are going to make a difference. No matter what, sometimes, no matter what cost, we're going to make a difference. And this year, we put our health at risk, our lives at risk, sometimes our family at risk, because we are so passionate about the work we do and who we work for, our children. And so that to me was just a great takeaway from this year, that, oftentimes a lot is thrown at us, but we rise through it. We step up out, and we show out that, no matter, we are able to handle it. And for us, we just need that support and that ability to know when we need to step back, but at the same time to push forward. And then also for our learners, this year, oh my gosh, thinking about it, I kind of feel a little bit overwhelmed, but we made it. Like, we made it. And for that,
we made it. Period.
We made it. I'm thankful. I'm grateful. But more than anything else, I want to say we are rock stars. That's my takeaway.
Yes. Thank you.
I like that. We are rock stars.
We are rock stars. All right, Dr. Cotton, any memorable moments or takeaways, lessons learned from this challenging year?
Oh, memorable moments is just like at the beginning of the year in August when we were told we are not going to be going full time. That was a memorable moment because we're so traditional, in our education box. So we're like, what do you mean we're not going to actually see students? We're going to have to do virtual. So memorable moments is when that ball dropped that we're going to be all teaching virtually. That was the memorable moment. The takeaways and the highlights is we survived. like Dr. Simone said, we're resilient. As educators, we're flexible. So we taught outside the box. We made it work, like no matter what, with the limited amount of time. It was like start school August, get training on this platform, start teaching kids. So, the glass is full and we made it. We've shown our resilience, and we've also shown that there are different ways as educators that we can educate students beyond the four walls of the classroom. Some ways are effective for some students. Some ways, it was ineffective for some students, but we've learned a lot as far as the whole methodology of education and how we instruct students in the building. And we stood strong and, persevered. So, yay, it's over. We hope.
Oh, almost for Dr. Houston. All right. All right. So, Elzora, what were some of your takeaways from this year?
Oh, wow. One of my major takeaways is that teachers are freaking rock stars. I mean, so many teachers were apprehensive at first because they had to learn a new skill set while juggling all their home life as well as their work life. And so trying to find that happy medium where they can play in an intersection and be successful. I mean, they rocked it out. For instance, they had to learn new technologies such as Zoom, Screencastify, let's see, Pear Deck.
We had to learn new features in Google Cloud. All of the updates, right.
Desmos. I mean, and these teachers were troopers. And not only that, but I saw communities of teachers come together and rally around each other and support each other. And I thought that was phenomenal. I mean, I really got a chance to see some phenomenal work by teachers. Like, I was just so impressed by the perseverance, the use, just moving outside of their comfort zone so that way they can support their students. And I just want to celebrate all the teachers. They freaking rock. That's all I got to say. They rock. Yes, Robin,
right.
Y'all are rock stars.
Yes. Rock stars, yes. And Dr. Houston, any memorable moment for you?
Yes, just to and shout out to Roz Wilson. She's one of my SIM sisters, another organization I'm a part of. Add to what everyone has said, my word for the same thing you all have described is just pivot masters. We started the year, our students were hybrid. So we had a cohort come in 2 days per week, another cohort, another 2 days per week. That changed, that was scratched and changed. And later they all joined back together 4 days a week. Later that changed to 5 days a week. So no matter what our teachers faced, they were able to pivot, make it work, make it happen in order for our students to receive everything that they needed to receive. We have one staff baby already with us. And then we got one more on the way. These are our pandemic babies. And next week, Tuesday, normally we have our senior graduating class from the high school come down and do their final walk. They usually go to the middle and elementary schools, but because of the pandemic, we can't do that. So in place of us having our 8th grade promotion ceremony, we're going to do an 8th grade promotion final walk. So next Tuesday, I think will be a very memorable moment for me because it's actually going to be my last walk as I transition into my new position for next year at the district level. So it'll be probably an emotional time. I've been at that school for 18 years. So to transition into something different will be a big change, but a blessing.
Yes. And congratulations
I was gonna say
again.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, it's awesome.
Thank you.
I think the biggest theme throughout this year has been a lot of collaboration.
Mhm.
I think about the village. That's what we're here for.
Yes.
Throughout the pandemic, teachers have been, collaborative planning has been off the chain, many PDs, like Elzora said, teachers have been just coming up with out of the box things. And I think we've leaned on each other a little bit more this year, and the support has been absolutely great.
And that's definitely something that we should definitely take with us.
Yes.
Next year, definitely want to keep that collaboration, that camaraderie within our schools, because it's definitely impacted our school culture. But normally, you would think during a pandemic, there would be a lot of chaos in the buildings, but actually, we were coming together. So it was beautiful. And I want to shout out also our parents as well. Because a lot of parents stepped up to really help out with the teachers and the school leaders. And they were like, whatever you guys need, I am there for you. And we became partners, true partners. We talk about that sometimes, that parents are our partners. But during this pandemic, I really saw that and I felt it, where, parents were, calling and emailing, saying what you need more masks, you need more hand sanitizer, what is it that you need? And if we had any issue with students, we will call parents and say, oh, we're going to make sure my child is on Zoom, we're going to make sure he log on. And, you would log on to class and parents are sitting there on
right
Zoom.
next to you. Paying attention.
You paying attention? Answer that question. And so I think that is something that is definitely worth shouting out with our parents. Congratulations to you too, parents.
You made it.
Congratulations. So thank you guys for sharing something that's memorable. We have definitely seen some great things during this time. It's been challenging. There's been some troubles and challenges. We're not going to talk about that right now. We're celebrating. So we want to talk about the good news and the things that we want to take with us next school year. So positive moments during this time. All right. So we're getting ready to relax. Lay on the beach or lay in our hammock in our backyard. That's what I did. And I need a good book. I need some books. I have a few here, but I want to hear from our special guest. What are some good books that you are reading or you plan to read this summer?
I want them to sell me on it. I'm a math person. So sell me on this book. Like, make it good, make it juicy,
Right. So, all right, I want to hear about Elzora. What books are you reading and what books are you planning to read this summer?
Okay, so my nightstand, I'm serious. I have about 25 books on my nightstand. Wow. And I'm like, how you get into bed and you're like, which book do I feel like reading? And so I just pick a book that whatever, feels like I'm in a mood for, and I'll read it. But let me just share with you some books that I think will be a great read. Of course, I'm going to share my book, which is soon to be released. And the name of my book is called Play Your Game Now, 15 Points to Hitting the Winning Shot in Life. And so I firmly believe if you are trying to be a leader, or if you want to become a person of influence, then you have to read. You have to not only read, but you have to pour into yourself. And I highly recommend, if you want to pour into yourself, there's some beautiful chapters about how you need to position yourself. Like there's this one particular chapter 2, it says, assume the position. So in other words, for instance, Dr. Houston is in the process of moving to her next position. In order for her to even be ready for that next position, she had to already be thinking along the lines of that next position. You can't be behind the 8 ball late thinking about it. You have to assume the position. Act like you already have that position. Many teachers are constantly asking, how do I get out the classroom? Well, one good thing is do your job well, but assume the next position. Act like you are already in that position. What would you look for in yourself to be noticed? So that's one thing. So let me say that book again. Play your game now, not tomorrow. Play your game now. 15 points to hitting the winning shot in life. Now, another book that I highly recommend, is a book by John Maxwell. Again, you are in the process of, you are a leader. So this, in order to be a leader, you need to read this book. It's called Becoming a Person of Influence. There you go. Becoming a Person of Influence. I highly recommend you check out this book. I'm going to be reading. Well, this is one of the books that I'm going to be, reading. So I highly recommend that you check it out.
John Maxwell?
Yes.
You said John
Becoming.
Maxwell?
Pardon?
You said that was by John Maxwell?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I've read some of his other books. I know this is going to be good.
Oh yes, absolutely. So my book should be coming out by the end of this month, and I'll make sure, Rosalind, that I get you a link so that way people can know how they can order it.
Great. All right, Dr. Cotton, what books are you reading or planning to read this summer?
Okay, well, what books am I planning to read? I am going to read Equity Outside the Box by my friend Jelena Smith Hunter. She's been talking about it. I've heard so much about it. I feel like I know a lot about it, but I'm going to read. I'm going to learn how to, empower myself with equitable options for students with her 3 Ps, her data dance, and all the other information that she talks about in her book. So that's on my to-do list. Currently, I'm actually reading a couple of books. One book is by Tiffany Elise. It's called Get Good with Money, because we all need to get good with money. So I'm trying to work on, when I become a millionaire from all my book sales and everything. Speaking engagements. I want to learn how to manage my money better. So I'm reading that. It's called Get Good with Money. It's an African-American author, and she got herself out of debt with student loans and things like that. So I'm reading that. And then I'm also reading from my favorite president, Barack Obama, A Promised Land, which is his autobiography and like his current, his events when he was in the White House as well. Now, what everyone else should read along, for good reading are my 2 books, Essential Tips for Special Education Leaders. Where's my camera? And my new release, Essential Tips for Section 504 Coordinators. Why should you read my book? Because I've been in education for 24 years and I am a sister girl, and I break it down in 11 chapters, real world, based on my experiences when I was a school special education administrator. I'm currently a district leader. I've been in special education and students with disability leadership for about 15 years. And the chapters, they're easy to read, they're manageable, and it's real life. I'm very honest and transparent. I'm transparent about when I got the job and I was all excited and I got this job. And about 2 weeks of the job, I was ready to quit and move back to Florida. I tell my story, and then how I had to get myself together, and create some task-driven, goals and get through this position, and how I end up being in that position for 3 years and moving up to the district level. So once I got a grip on everything, I was able to, impact change. I had a group that I call the Rockstar Group. I talk about team building. I talk about relationships. I talk about all those different things that you need in leadership, and not just special ed leadership, just leadership as well. So the book is for special education leaders, but it could be for an educator, a gen ed educator, a special ed teacher, a college student who wants to know more about special education. Like I said, when I was in that position and I was about to quit, there was not one resource that I could just go pull from the shelf and say, what's an IEP? Or, what is FAPE? What are all these acronyms? There was not one resource. So instead of being a part of the problem and complaining, I said, I'm going to be a part of the solution. So that's why I wrote my book, which is, provides that basic information for special education and leadership. And then the same thing for Section 504 coordinators, which is another growing trend in America. So if you don't know, this is some basic knowledge, easy read, 11 chapters. And like I said, it's honest, transparent. And, I just break it down for anyone, honest, based on my experience. So
I appreciate you for sharing. And Dr. Houston, what are you reading and what do you recommend?
Well, first, I would like to thank the Village for selecting my partner and I's book on your summer reading list. We are authors of part of the anthology Women Who Lead, featuring school principals. So thank you. We were very honored, and so many people congratulated us for making the list. I'm also reading, of course, Principal Kafele's. This is like red hot right now. Equity of Social Justice Education, and Dr. Roz is a part of our book study. My partner and I host a platform as well, the Collaborative, and we bring people together. So one thing that we're going to collaborate on is a book study on how to implement those strategies. And we also work with authors. So this is one of the authors that I'm working with, Daphne Robinson. She is from Mississippi, but she used to be a prosecutor, as she wrote this book, Delinquent. And it talks about how students in the juvenile justice system, we really don't do well by them in the school system with some of the punishments that we extend to them. So she tries to help us look at some other avenues. So I've actually purchased this book for my school resource officer as well as my assistant principals, and we're going to do a book study on how to think outside of the box and utilize some other practices that is not so damaging to our students at such a young age. And for fun, this is a book called A Book of Poetry, Fame. I've ordered this. This is by Mr. Robert Horton, and he's an African-American independent author. A lot of my young men, sometimes it's a little bit hard for them to get into poetry. So I have a little group of them that I pull during the day to help them with reading. So I was able to get them interested in reading because a lot of his poetry is culturally relevant. He has quotes from Nipsey. So when they see that, they get excited and want to read the rest of the poem. So it has been exciting to see them get excited and also to work with authors who are producing culturally relevant books that are able to engage our students more. So that's a lot of the work that Tammy and I do centers around that.
Awesome. So you stole some of my books that I was going to recommend, but that's okay. We're the village. We're family. It's okay.
That's right. Well, I mentioned you. We together. We collaborate.
All right. So, Dr. Simone, what are you reading? What you reading, girl? What you reading?
Oh, wow. Well, I'm going to start with what I have read, and I'll get to what I'm reading. So, one book that I read that gave me such sense of clarity and purpose is this right here. Start with Why.
Start with Why. That's a good one.
By Simon Sinek. I recall when I was getting my chapters of my book together, I wrote my chapters. I knew, what I was doing, what I wanted to accomplish. But for the life of me, I kind of knew the why, but I could not verbalize the why. So if someone asked me in the elevator, like your elevator speech for your book, what's the why, the purpose?
Why?
I really didn't know. And I can't recall how I got into this book or who recommended the book for me. And I'm telling you, the clarity that came out. Understanding what you're doing is good. No, we know that. We know what we're doing. We know the what behind the action. But without the why, your purpose is not there. It's visible. It's like you're journeying on with your what, but the why, the purpose behind what you're doing is not there. When I talk about this book, yes, Mr. Sinek, I'm just giving you that free ad right here. When I talk about this book, I definitely want to recommend it for anyone, educators, who you're in this profession, and I'm going to connect it to my book in a little bit, but you're in this profession and you have lost your why. Open this book and you will be reminded that your what is good, but your why, the foundation of, behind the what, is the power behind your movement, right? So I am telling you why this book is so important for me, because it provides that clarity, the purpose behind, the what I do as an educator. Now, the book that I have now just cracked open, and I'm on in a book study with this one with a couple of my colleagues, talks about why are all the Black kids sitting together in the cafeteria.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, do
I know that's a juicy one right there.
Right. What's that, Dr. Roz?
No, I was saying, I know that's a juicy one. I've heard about it. I just haven't gotten my hands on it yet.
Oh, get your hands on it. I have just started. I am on chapter 2, so I'm early in the stage. But the information as it pertains to topics of racial issue in our school, in our classroom, among our students, it is so powerful. And I've only just cracked open the book. We are on chapter by chapter. I think today it was chapters 1 and 2 that we get done, and by the end of the day I will have chapter 2 done, because it is just so thought-provoking and bring to the forefront those topics that are so important for the why behind what we do as educators, right? So this one is one that you have to get your hands on. Beverly Daniel Tatum, you have to get your hands on this book, a good summer read. I'm telling you, get your pencil ready, your highlighter, your post-it notes, because you will need to go back and reflect on this. Now, while both books are great, I want to introduce you to my book, Death by Burnout: Education's Dirty Little Secret. Now, I talked about the why, the book about why, right? And when Dr. Cotton was talking, Dr. Houston was talking, and Elzora was talking, I was like, wait a second there. Your books and the work that you're doing connects so much to this. Nakia said, at one point you just want to just be done with it, right? Step out. Death by Burnout. This book brings you literally, with the words on the pages, into the life of educators like us. The walk we've gone through. And yes, you will pick this book up, you will purchase it on Amazon, either the digital version or this copy, and you're like, wait, is she talking about me?
Exactly.
I may be talking about you, because you have walked in their shoe in some shape or form, but it brings you into their real, true life stories of being burnt out, from coming in with out of the corporate world, or those who have gone through that foundational training to be an educator, and by year 3, like I was ready to just throw in the towel and be like, forget about the why that I did not really know about behind education, why I'm doing what I'm doing. And in addition to that, for every chapter, from my research, information from the participants, they share how they were able to overcome the symptoms of burnout. Yeah. And for those who threw the towel in, they share, okay, what pushed them to that edge, but nonetheless, they were able to weather the storm of burnout and basically got over that. So if you have not gotten this book, pick it up. Death by Burnout: Education's Dirty Little Secret. Yes, dirty little secret, because the conversation that we don't call staff meetings to talk about, are you feeling this way? Do you wake up not wanting to come to work? Are you emotional drained? Do you have too much on your plate? We don't really have those conversations, do we? It's right here. And this is what we need to talk about to keep our teachers in the classroom, our students learning, engaged, so they are not recipients of this system where teachers are leaving the classroom. So definitely get this book in your reading this summer.
Awesome. So I want to recap all of those amazing books. So we have available with us, we'll make sure we show the banners, and all of the links, I believe, are in the comments now. So we have Dr. Cotton's book, make sure we have that. So y'all write this down, everyone, write down the name of her book. Make sure, hold up, put it up.
There we go.
There we go. All right, so that's Dr. Cotton's book. So we want to make sure we add that to our list.
Both of them.
Both books. And then Dr. Simone's book, we're gonna add that to our list as well. Y'all writing this down, Billy? I don't see y'all with y'all paper and pen.
See, you supposed to be on something.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm on summer vacation. 1, 2, 3, all eyes on me.
Right.
And then Dr. Houston's book as well. Make sure you write that down as well. Yes. All right. So that's just a recap. These are our village authors. So we definitely want to support you guys and get those books. I will definitely make sure I get Dr. Kai's book. I think that's the only one I do not have. And then Elzora's book, we're going to make sure we put her link in the comments so that we can pre-order her book as well. So thank you guys so much. And I want to just, recommend. Oh, what happened to my book? Okay. One of the books that I'm reading is Draw the Circle, the 40-Day Prayer Challenge by Mark Batterson. And this is something that I do on a regular basis to just kind of pause, reflect, and, do some type of prayer challenge or fast, just so that I can woosah. And the end of the school year is a great time to kind of reconnect and really figure out my why, Dr. Simone, and my purpose. But because I am a Christian, I do pause and pray and make sure that I'm hearing from God, because I'll be transitioning to a new position as well, Dr. Houston. So I want to make sure that I am moving in the correct direction. So this is what I am reading. All right, along with the other long list of books that Dr. Houston already mentioned already. So again, guys, thank you so much for sharing your book recommendations. But before we go, I also want to hear from you guys, what's that one topic if I'm, trying to get a book. I heard burnout, I heard some other topics. Just give me like one topic that people should be reading or learning more about as we go into our next school year. Just think, I know that's the kind of pause.
Is that one?
One thing, just one thing before we go. If I'm trying to get a book and I want to, make sure that I'm, thinking about the different things that's going on in the world right now and what we got to prepare for next year, what's some topics that we should really think about? Yes, go.
Okay. I am really out here, like I'm got my hand raised, like I'm back in school.
Yes.
Those topics about diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Okay, that's a good topic.
Yeah, with all backgrounds. So, we talk about the LGBTQ+. We talked about our students with ESOL, our ESOL learners. We talked about students with IEPs, 504. So just making sure that we don't stop keeping up that inclusion.
All right. Anything else from the village elders? Any topics that we should really think about over the summer? Yes, Dr. Cotton, and then Elzora.
All right, anything with closing learning achievement gaps with the pandemic. Unfortunately, the pandemic did, switch some things up in education. And so we want to be realistic, so there are going to be some times where we're going to have to work to close those gaps through a pandemic year. So anything on pandemic learning and closing gaps will be really instrumental, especially in reading and math, those subjects.
All right. And Elzora?
I would say anything to do with learning more about yourself. That's key, because when you learn about more how to take care of yourself, it's from that point you can give better, because you can't give from an empty cup. You can only give from your overflow. So you need to pour into yourself, learn more about yourself, learn how you can serve yourself, not in a selfish way, but in a way that allows you to better serve others and yourself. Learn more about yourself.
All right, so you heard it here first, guys.
I have one.
Uh-oh, we got one more.
Yes, one thing that Tammy and I, we're really excited about some projects that we're working on with some authors, helping them write their stories. One thing is around alternative education. A lot of times for some reason, there's a stigma to that, but it shouldn't be, because everyone doesn't learn the same way. Definitely, we've learned during the pandemic that options are needed. So we really have some great innovative leaders that we're working with to provide districts and schools and systems with some ideas around how to better implement some things that they have had success around with implementing alternative programs. And also, we've talked about some dirty secrets with Dr. I can't see Simone's book, The Burnout. There's also some other dirty secrets in leadership that we don't talk about, that we're helping a leader get his story out. And it is like a fall from grace type story where sometimes you may not receive the coaching that you need, or you may not receive the support. And then when something happens, those opportunities in your career abruptly, may have to pivot or come to an end. And then a lot of times you don't hear those stories. So we are definitely going to help him tell his story, because there definitely needs to be some more equity surrounding how we have to deal with things versus how you see other people who also may have some things happen in their careers, but they come out with a completely different look and on a totally different end than we do. So we would like to bring some attention to that issue and make sure that we are supporting school leaders of all races and provide more equity around that.
Wow. Good topics to dig into.
Dirty secrets.
Yes, right. So thank you so much, Village Elders, for coming today with us to celebrate the end of another school year and to recommend some great summer reads. I enjoyed this opportunity to kind of, add to my Amazon cart. Thank you very much.
Amazon thanks you.
Right. So again, guys, thank you so much. Hang out for a sec, and we're going to chat in a second. So don't go, log off yet. All right, thank you, guys. So that was so good.
That was good.
We're
gonna be like Elzora. We're gonna have a whole list.
Right, 25 books on the nightstand. Yes, that's gonna be it. So I hope you guys add it to your Amazon cart, because leaders are readers. So we want to, make sure that our summers are, fun and relaxing, but also an opportunity to kind of brush up on some skills.
Yeah.
And making sure that we are ready for the next school year, and that we, take some time out to, do some professional development, maybe do an online class, maybe
a little something.
But again, reading a good book is always a good thing. And I hope you guys had an amazing school year, and I can't wait to hear about some of your amazing books that you are reading this summer. Be sure to tell us about your books, and remember to continue to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at The Village LG. We've enjoyed you guys having this discussion today and on Tuesday. And so again, teacher leadership is a mindset, not a position. So we will see you guys next week.
Bye.